Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I personally dislike seeing sports being invaded by politics or social symbols and social ideas, social justice, things like this. If I'm watching a sports event, I don't want to see over there Black Lives Matter, the rainbow this or a rainbow flag with a thing or any flags. I allow freedom of expression. I don't like organized freedom of expression. That's a different thing. If people in the audience choose by their own will to show over there they support this or that at a football or I don't know MMA event or sports event, that's their choice. Do I think it's right? No, but it's within their right. I mean, do I think it's not right? If I think it has class, that's within their right. They can protest, but peacefully and don't disrupt the whole thing. Now, that's one thing versus let's say a football team wearing a shirt, having to wear a shirt with a symbol here. Black Lives Matter, or I don't know, rainbow flag on this, or I support this, or I support that. Made by the organizers. I don't like that because not everyone in the team might agree with that symbol, with that stand, and besides, I don't want to watch that. I want to watch football. You can do it. That's fine, but I think it's bad taste. And that's why they're losing a lot of people, fans, sports fans, that are watching, for instance, hosts interviewing one another and talking about this and talking about politics in, I don't know, sports. Now, what happened now? As I don't like that in this way, I don't like in the other way, which is, let me show you on the other side. This article coming from Ukrainska Pravda, and it says that Russian hockey players take to ice bearing the symbols in support of war. All right, now I know here in the States it was that BLM and all that, and this matters and that not matters, this kind of lives matter, but the other ones don't matter that much. And I didn't like that kind of thing. Like Black Lives Matter. Of course they matter. All lives matter. Just so you know, okay? And if you say, no, this one matters more, you're a supremacist right there. Aren't you? So in this case, I always dislike that. I said, not from the teams. Now you have the Russians. Obviously, they have two strikes here. The first one is the Ukrainians will not like that the team probably uses that. And the second one, it's promoting something they are against. But you see, the Russians consider themselves being the victims. And you consider them being the aggressors. Unprovoked aggression against Ukraine. Remember that one? That's dumb as hell. But we got a dumb population. We have people who have to make them understand. You're not going to talk to a toddler in a certain kind of semantics and talk about, hey, when you remember Nietzsche said this in his book. No, you're not going to talk like that with a toddler. You go down, hey, how are you, buddy? Doing okay? You want to go the pee-pee? You want to go pee-pee? No? Yeah? That's how you talk with them. The same, these guys, when they have their little articles so low intellectually, they don't talk to you. They don't talk to me. They don't care about us. They care a certain kind of segment that will vote. And it's numerous enough and dumb enough to be, immediately swayed left, right, however they want. So, let's see what's going on here. Russian hockey players take to ice bearing these symbols in support of war. Russian hockey players, from HA CSKA Moscow, have been taken to the ice bearing the Z symbol of war against Ukraine and wearing uniforms with the insignia of the Russian paramilitary forces fighting in Ukraine. Do you remember it was that bullshit? Wasn't it a World Cup? I think so. Last World Cup, football World Cup, not soccer, football World Cup, when the captain armband was supposed to be a rainbow for stop this and promote that, and some soccer player says, I'm not going to wear this shit. I don't support that. My God, you must be a bad person. From allowing you to just do it without being hurt, now to being mandated to wear that support that I might not support. I would tolerate, but not support. It's a difference. Now you don't have to only to support. You have to be enthusiastic enough cheering for it. Well, what is that? I remember the communist times in Romania when you were applauding the Ceausescu, and if you were not applauding too enthusiastically, you got a guy next to you elbowing you and say, man, applaud, show appreciation. And you're like, yeah, like you see the North Koreans. No insult, but when I see those North Koreans, when they see the woodchuck showing up, everybody's like, oh, and that's fake. If you get to that point for a person, that means you've been bad. I mean, I understand people crying, about Jesus and all that, but that's the same elevation of that kind of level. And if you really love that, that's good for you. Good for you. Good for you in a way that don't push that on me. You stay there, pee your pants for that, get wet for that, but don't impose that on me. So CSKA reported that the players carried out the pre-match warm-up wearing a special uniform, quote unquote, and I'm quoting again. It's dedicated to the valiant fighters from the Española military organization, selflessly defending our homeland in the hottest spots of the front, sacrificing their health and risking their lives. Española military formation consisting of Russian football fans of various Russian clubs. Now, you get or Spaniard. Well, they know he's a terrorist battalion commander, but the Azov battalion is just a nationalist formation of faction of the Ukrainian military. Correct? Correct. So how am I supposed to give any credibility to the weasel who wrote this article, which we're not gonna, Roman Petrenko, suspicious already. But anyway, for reference, the Cherta media outlet reported that the Española battalion is associated with the former Russian president aide Vladislav Surkov and Putin's United Russia Party faction. All right, we know for a fact, if you remember, and if you don't, just do 2 clicks away and you're gonna find out how, I don't want to say everyone, but how it was referred in the West, how the Azov battalion was referred, or regiment was referred in the West prior to the war in Ukraine, or whatever was in Ukraine. They were called Nazis, they were called in the far right, they will call it this and call that. Now, no, they're just a nationalistic faction, which somehow is good for the Ukrainians, but in the United States, nationalist is bad. Why is that? Because the people who control us and them, have an agenda, and they manipulate the population based on however you need to manipulate it. Remember that's that little story with that frog, allowing a scorpion to jump on its back so it crosses the little river, stream. So it says the frog tells the scorpion comes to the frog and says, hey buddy, let me here to cross that, can you cross it or something? And the frog said, no, because you're gonna bite me, you're gonna sting me. And the guy said, no, the scorpion said, nah, I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna help myself. Now you promise? Pinky promise? Okay. So they start swimming, sun hops on its back, and the frog starting swimming, and in the middle of the stream, the scorpion does what it does. And then the frog said, well, you stupid mofo, now, you see, we're both going to drown. Why did you do this? And the scorpion said, I couldn't help it. So, you see, the same thing. They're gonna do this, they can't help it. The situation in which they are, that's the way they are. Or they could have just, once you use someone and you got everything covered and you see yourself clear, you're gonna turn around and do something to the person who you used to achieve your goals. So basically that's what's gonna happen with all of us. Why? Because that's the way it is. The strong one will, a strong one. We all want to achieve our goals. Now the ability to achieve those, you're gonna use whatever you're gonna use in the legal department, or at least within the framework of legality, for us, not for them. And you try to achieve it. Now, more power that you have, more you're gonna push those boundaries, and you're gonna allow yourself to cut corners here, to do this to that one, stab the other one, and so on. So the same here. These guys are using this nationalistic thing in Ukraine, but in America, to be nationalistic is bad connotation. You're like, you're immediately Adolf or patriot. Oh my God, patriot, nationalist. But over there, it's just fine for now. Once, if that happens, the Ukrainians, I say Ukrainians, NATO, the guys behind all this, succeed, let's say in Ukraine, the nationalist thing, the patriotic thing will erase again. We're going to be gone. We're going to switch like the Azov battalion from this battalion to a good battalion all of a sudden, just by changing terms, not behavior, just terms. Emily's skinny or is fat, however they want to do it. Today he's skinny, tomorrow he's fat, without changing anything. So anyway, my friends, here it is. Those guys using symbols over that. As I said, I think it's bad taste, and I don't like that. Even if I support it, I'm not over there for these symbols. I'm not gonna go over there to see that. Like people, hey, I identify as a this heterosexual or homosexual. I don't give a fuck what you identify as. Is that your main thing that you go by? Is that your main achievement in your life? I go by that? Or you say, well, I identify as a, I don't know, let's talk about it and see what you identify me as. Smart guy, idiotic guy, it shows the priority of beings. You can say, well, hello, my name is Emil, my pronouns are dickhead. Okay, all right, why do I care? I'm going to call you however I want. If I want to be nice, I can call you how you would prefer. But don't impose shit to me, because I can do the same thing to you. Okay, and you are going to refer to me as your daddy. All right, or I don't know, as your mommy. Would you like that? Or you go to if people who would support that go and tell me, I'm your boss from now on. That's how you want to behave, as I'm your boss. Or you can identify it as that. Really, but I can identify by the other thing? Yeah. Why? Because it's an idiotic ideology just to make us separate and don't be, united in observing and noting who's who, what's what. Because those guys... Anyway, say no more. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.